We arrived in the Cotswolds and we spent the night in the car park at Silvery Hill. We thought we could get some rest there before we ventured out. I got up early, want to see the autumn colours, but as you can see, not everybody was as keen as I was about getting up. So I went for a bit of a walk, taking some of the sights of the autumn colours as they were coming out. And then I got the drone out because it was a very still morning and it was quite misty. So I thought I'd have a look at the landscape, because we travelled down during the night and visibility was quite poor because of the heavy rains. But during the day, and with the help of the drone, you could actually see the village and the Cotswold stone mist rising above the forests, and it made it a really picturesque view, which I was happy to record onto the film. And for the first time we were actually getting a view of the unmistakable colour of the Cotswold stone. I thought I'd better get back because somebody will be stirring. So, a last flight of the drone, take in that view once again. And then find somewhere so that we can have some breakfast. And this looked just the spot, just off the side of the main road, all farm and local produce as well. It was top hatch. I love all things flying, and what I love even more are motorised things that are flying. And we realised we weren't far from Bryce Norton. That was a bit of fun. I wanted to catch that as it came in. I was watching it with the app on there, which you can see, look, it picks up the RAF and various other aircraft. But this is just outside Bryce Norton. That one's actually touched down now, but I'm sure I can hear a Herc. It sounds like one. So hopefully we'll get a Herc up in the air now. I wasn't wrong. The Herc came round doing circuits. Took me back to my days when I lived at Thorney Island on the south coast, when the Andovers and Hercs used to share the base, and we'd watch them as children coming in and out. Me and Tracy have a bit of a passion for the larger of the aircraft, but to get that close and also find a little parking spot where we weren't intrusive to anybody was brilliant, and we could just watch them coming in nice and low. The 400Ms were stationary, which was a shame. We'd previously asked on Facebook if anybody knew of some spots where we could view some of the aircraft coming in at Bryce without being a pest, and they described to us that you can actually walk around most of the perimeter. It's a footpath, so the dog needed a walk, and as we got round we realised we were right smack on the approach for the runway, and when I checked the app I could see that there was a C-17 that was doing some circuits, so I asked if we could stop there for a little while and just do a little bit of filming while the aircraft was coming in. And there's Tracy in the foreground there, waiting patiently with Polly. And lo and behold, she starts to get up again. And I couldn't resist it. I had to film a few more shots of her doing some circuits. It amazes me how an aircraft that size can get into the sky. And she looked amazing with the storm colour grey that she is against the grey background of the clouds. It just looked fantastic. What a brilliant shot. Not everybody was as enthralled as I was about viewing aircraft. Polly seemed to think that there was more interesting stuff in the ground and underneath the moss, so she decided to make her own entertainment. And I think Tracy was getting ready to go as well. But bless them, they waited for me. But I begged for one more picture of the hurt coming in. And there we go. With the days being shorter, it was time to move on, but then, oh wait, look Tracy, it's going up again.
Ollie said no.
But yeah, time to head off. The C-47 at Bryce Norton, which is stands as a memorial, brought me to mind of RAF Broadwell, where we were making our way. The disused airfield is still there, some of the runway, but it was used for gliders. This is what it looked like during the war, and as you can see, as the years fade, parts disappear, other bits get used for agricultural means, but the scars were still very evident on the countryside. The tower still remained. We took the dog along the walk past the runway, and in my mind I could only think of what happened here all those years ago. And I found out that it was one of the parachute regiments that they took out, and these on the 5th of June all flew out in a mass exodus, and there was a memorial to them as well. The pilots must have been, I can only say, stalwart in their duties, because once they dropped the paras off, those that came back refueled, and then they came back and took the gliders as well, and then went straight out again. It must have been an absolute hive of activity here all those years ago. And now all you hear are the birds singing. What a sight this must have been, standing on those balconies or looking through those windows, staring out. Could have been toilets for all I know. Yeah. It looks like bricks have been piled up there, or they've come off the roof. Wow. Somebody's still working late at Bry's. Oh, wow, there's still the shelving there. And the stairs. Let's have a look. There's the stairs. No, I would have thought I'd have got up here. Makes you wonder what their eyes have seen looking out here, doesn't it? The C-47s took off and went down that runway, heading for Normandy. For some of them it would have been the very last journey they'd ever make. One of our other passions was the fantastic TV series, which was Downton Abbey. We knew that we wouldn't be able to enter the building and that because it was closed for the summer season, but also because of COVID as well, that it would be shut down. But we knew we could take a walk near the grounds and maybe get a peep at the tower itself, which was significant as the Downton Abbey building. Obviously its original name, its real name is Highclere House, but I took the drone up, and because we were graced with perfect weather, so I just thought, well, I'll just fly it towards so we can just get a look at that landscape and the beautiful autumn colours as they were coming out in full strength now. Highclere Castle just sits proud and just stands out from the landscape there as well. My wife is a big fan of the TV series, as is myself, so it was quite nice for us to get near to it. And we pictured the Crawley family as they would walk up the drive. The drone helped us get some great views of the landscape there as well. There was loads of wildlife, pheasants, you could hear them calling and scurrying about in the undergrowth as well as the deer that we saw previously as well. And we could hear a green woodpecker, but we couldn't see it. It was blended in too well with the countryside. After we'd had a good look at the countryside with the drone, we decided to bring that in and take a little walk up the path and try out a little photo opportunity. So Polly and Tracy decided to do a pose for me. Little Downton Guggy. And then we decided, yep, it's food time, so we visited a pub called the Pheasant, and it was beautiful. The food, the people were friendly, and the food was excellent as well. This has confused us, hasn't it, Polly? Why they park like that We don't understand, do we? Hey. She doesn't get it. Do you get it? No. On with the film. And there's Tracy Crawley. Then we visited Carterton. We didn't realise how close we were to it when we were at Bryce, that Carterton was very close to the aerodrome that we were watching the aircraft from. And this is where obviously many Downton Abbey scenes have been shot, from the weddings to the Crawley funeral. And because of the COVID and the restricted travel that was come into force over the year, the place was virtually empty, and it was nice to have a walk round in relative peace to have a look at some of the fantastic buildings that have been used during the set. Tracy thinking she's Duchess of Pooh Street. Can't resist it. And that is what serves as the Crawley house. As you can see, authentic with a hearse flying over it. Oh, perfect. Well, that was good timing, wasn't it? So where do you think his grave was? Here somewhere? Tracy thinks it's possibly around here somewhere because it's disused. So there it is, the filming location for Downton Abbey. Really nice, beautiful, beautiful buildings all around. So glad we visited. Stunning, isn't it? I love reading these. So that's 1832. Hannah and I don't even know how that's. Jolyn. Polly was driving. We arrived at Avery. A beautiful place. Allows you to get up close and personal to the stones, unlike Stonehenge. The village is surrounded by the stone circle. Well worth a visit. Well worth a visit. I would have liked to have got a drone footage up there, but there's no drones in that area. Like a lot of areas in and around that area, because of firing ranges or aircraft that are low flying in that area. Silvery Hill is the next place we visited. As the light was fading, we just managed to get the drone up because you're not allowed to walk up the hill, despite the amount of footpath that you can see at the front of the hill there. But it is obviously a combination of sheep that walk up there and people, so it is well worn. But we decided that we wouldn't walk to the top of the hill. We would just use the drone and just fly up to the top of it so that we could get a view of the surrounding area. And as you got to the top of the hill, you can see how it levels off and gives a great commanding view of the farmland around you. And we decided then that it was, as the light was fading, it was time to get back in the van and go and find somewhere to stay. and a very short drive from Silvery was the Little Owls Farm Park. Just a few vehicles there. It was a simple phone call, really friendly people, plenty of space, nice little facilities. Obviously everything was COVID compliant as well, which was great, and really friendly people who used it. We had to nip to Bath that morning because Tracy required some batteries. We arrived at Bratton Camp and White Horse. Now this is how you fly a glider. I'll step back and give you some space as well, of course. I can feel it coming from here a bit, sort of. Wow. You even get a flyby. Wow. Yeah. That was brilliant. Thank you very much. Another place which we dearly wanted to visit was Stonehenge, and again that was just as mystical as you could expect it to be. But we kept ourselves to ourselves because of COVID, so we just did a perimeter walk around the stone circle, but we do intend to go back one day. But we later found out that we could actually spend the night here as well, because further down from the stone circle was a parking area where people were staying overnight, and just up from there was some more waste ground area which we could actually just look straight across at the stone circle. So we parked here. And there you see Stonehenge, and me and Tracy are really impressed, and we think it's going to look great when it's finished.